Please stand. Face the flag. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, Bears, and happy St. Paddy's Day. There are 5 hours left until spring break, and we're just as excited as you all. I'm JP Ferrante.
And I'm Cindy Avila. Today is Friday, March 17th, and Good Morning John Burroughs starts right now.
Welcome back. Starting off today, Open Mic Day will take place in the library at lunch for all students to showcase their writing skills in a safe and open environment. All are welcome to watch.
Everbowl will be hosting a fundraiser for Link Crew from 3:30 to 8 today. It's located on Hollywood Way, and you just need to show them the flyer found in the bulletin. 20% of all purchases will be donated.
This past week marks 3 years since we first closed schools and learned the true impact that COVID-19 would have. Here's Justin with a look back on how it is still affecting students and staff.
On March 13th, 2020, students' lives changed dramatically when schools announced their closing and life came to a halt. At first, many believed it was just an extra week of spring break. Now, 3 years later, we are still experiencing the effects COVID has on our lives. Governor Newsom just terminated California's COVID state of emergency, but according to the New York Times, the U.S. has had over 103 million cases and 1.1 million confirmed deaths since 2020. In addition, COVID-19 has had devastating impacts on education, with large learning gaps and severe staffing shortages. In remembrance of the pandemic, we interviewed both a teacher and a student on their experiences 3 years ago.
The word that comes to mind is dreamlike. The whole world just felt really quiet. I remember looking out my window at 8 p.m. and there was just no one on the streets. It really did feel like, I don't know, like an episode of The Last of Us or something, right? There was just no one around. It was calm, but it was contrasted with this insane sense of urgency. It felt like the end of the world, but the end of the world was just people hanging out at home. It was bizarre.
Well, I'm going to be honest, being away from people and human interaction for so long, it really was quite the experience coming back to school.
But while the pandemic started suddenly, the change back to normality has gone at a crawl.
Well, I think first and foremost, when we came right back, I started to really take Gmjb seriously, and I was all over and really expanded my personality into a lot more of a happier person, just trying to, make life as fun as possible.
I mean, a lot has changed. I'm immune compromised, so I have to constantly be thinking about the space I occupy in public, especially. I still wear a mask, I wear an N95. I think people forget that there is a huge population of immune compromised people who the pandemic is still very strong and very much a real threat.
That's all for me. For Gmjb, I'm Justin Brauer reporting.
Thanks, Justin. For a few years, things like the prom were not possible, but luckily prom is back and better than ever. Tickets are $85 with an ASB card and $90 without. Don't forget to also submit your pictures or videos for the Cutest Ask contest. Add the hashtag JVHSProm 2023 on Instagram for your chance to win 2 free tickets.
Freshmen, this dance may be for seniors, but you have MORP, or a reverse prom, on Friday, March 31st from 6 to 9 p.m. There's a $5 entry fee that can be bought online or at the student store. There will be music, games, and more.
This month is Women's History Month, and this week we are learning more about one actress who has made a difference and broken boundaries. Here's Leyla with more.
Good morning, Bears. This is Leyla Incharigui. With Women's History Month, we highlight people who have made significant influences for women. Today, we are highlighting Puerto Rican actress, dancer, and singer Rita Moreno, the first Latina to have won an EGOT, who has made not only substantial impact on the Latino community by breaking racial stereotypes in Hollywood, but also a strong political activist and somebody who continues to showcase support and love for her home country, Puerto Rico. Rita Moreno was born Rosa Dolores Averio Marcano on December 11, 1931, in Humaco, Puerto Rico. When Moreno was 4, her parents got divorced, thus leading her mom and her to move to New York City. From there, Moreno began her career with dancing lessons and dubbing voices for American films for Spanish-speaking countries. In 1950, Moreno started to make her way on the big screens with notable films such as Singing in the Rain in 1952 and The King and I in 1956. However, in most of her roles, Moreno was cast in stereotypical ethnic roles with which she disagreed. Moreno stated that in the film The Yellow Tomahawk, she portrayed Honey Bear and considered her character the quote-unquote worst offender for portraying negative, harmful stereotypes of indigenous people. In 1961, Moreno was cast as the iconic Anita in the film adaptation of Leonard Bernstein's Broadway musical West Side Story. Moreno has stated that she felt uncomfortable on set due to making all the Puerto Ricans the same shade of brown. Following West Side Story, Moreno went on to make the cover of Time magazine's Woman of the Year for 1961. Moreno then went on to win an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress for her role as Anita. Following her breakthrough film, Moreno won a Grammy and a Tony Award, to which she stated in her acceptance speech, quote-unquote,
Rita Moreno is thrilled, but Rosa Dolores Alverio from Humacao, Puerto Rico is undone.
In 1977, Moreno was the first Latina to have reached EGOT status. In recent years, Moreno has been awarded 2 national awards such as the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the nation's highest civilian honor, by President George W. Bush in 2004, and the National Medal of Arts in 2010 from Barack Obama. In 2017, Moreno appeared in Norman Lear's reboot of the 70s sitcom One Day at a Time as Lydia. In 2021, Moreno starred in Steven Spielberg's West Side Story reboot as Valentina. Currently, Moreno is still affluent in acting and has a series of projects set for 2023. For Good Morning John Burroughs, I'm Leyla Incharigui reporting.
Club News Environmental Cleanup Club has a hike today at 4:30 p.m. at Stowe Canyon in partnership with the Student Mental Health Board. Fashion Club meets at lunch in room 6204. Creative Writing meets in room 2306. Also, if you're interested in yearbook next year, apply now as space is limited and applications are due by the 31st.
Finally, today we have another exciting episode of On the Bear Trail. Here's Lazlo with the news.
In entertainment news, both the Walt Disney Company and Warner Brothers have big birthdays to celebrate in 2023. Both companies are celebrating 100 years in 2023. Disney kicked off its celebration earlier this year, but both studios were recognized at the Oscars this past weekend. Over their centuries in business, Warner Brothers and Disney have made countless award-winning films, including 18 Best Picture Academy Award winners from Warner Brothers. In national news, Silicon Valley Bank collapsed last Friday in the second largest bank failure in U.S. history. While this is a somewhat unknown bank for many Americans, it's very well known for tech companies and other startups, and ranks 16 among top banks. According to the Washington Post, the federal government officials said over the weekend that all deposits with the failed bank would be returned this week. To learn more about how this bank failed, visit our Instagram stories for more information. In other entertainment news, Hollywood finished its award season this past weekend with the Oscars. While Everything Everywhere All at Once went home with 7 wins, several films walked away with none. Both Tar and Elvis were nominated for several awards but went home empty-handed. Equally surprising, Steven Spielberg's film The Fabelman did not win an Oscar for any of its nominations. What do you think of the winners? Tell us in our Instagram stories. That's all for me. Now back to you.
And that's it for today, Bears. Happy St. Patrick's Day, and we'll see you all after spring break. Until then, I'm JP Ferrante.
And I'm Cindy Avila. Have a great break, Bears.